Hey guys, let's take you back to the time when most of you were broke college students who received zero financial education from their parents. Now, did this question ever bother you that how on earth do these rich people make billions of dollars? While the Fed is raising the rates, the stock market is collapsing, the housing market is about to implode, but this named Bernard Arnault made $32 billion. That's mind-blowing, guys. Even 1% of that money is $320 million. That's the kind of money that can buy you literally anything you want. Not only you, but your kids, your grandkids. You are forever rich. No one in your next 3 or 4 generations at least will be poor. So can you make that kind of money, even if you don't have rich parents? Let's be honest here. Most of your parents taught you nothing about money, not because they didn't want to do that, but because they themselves are financially illiterate. Because if they have been, they would have taught you something or give you a small loan of $1 million, and you wouldn't be a broke college student. Now, it is also intriguing that most people on this Forbes list have made so much money from nothing. Sometime in the past, when they were young teenagers or adults, they might have been as broke as most of you. So, the question here is that, if these people with no money in their pockets made so much money, why can't you make at least 1% of that money? Before jumping into anything, you first have to figure out what you need to do. So, here are the rich people who don't share anything about their lives or business, so let's completely ignore them, because it's a waste of time. But here, the rich people who took the time to share what made them so successful. One of them is Warren Buffett. Now, most of you are not a fan of being rich to the point when you are old and you can't enjoy that money. What's the point of that money if you can't use while you are young, handsome, and strong? There is no point of making money if you're not going to use it on yourself, your family, or a cause you believe in. Doesn't matter. Helping poor people, saving the planet, or pay tuition for kids who can't afford it. But if you can make a few $1,000,000 while you are young following his advice, the rest, you will figure it out. Now, there are a bunch of books about Warren Buffett. You can read his letters online, watch his interviews, speeches, and whatever you can find. You'll be surprised that becoming rich is often not repeating stupid, dumb mistakes. If you just avoid some fundamental mistakes in your life, you are going to be rich. It sounds so simple that it feels like a scam. Now, by following this one simple rule, you will not become a billionaire, but you can be financially free by avoiding these mistakes. So, it doesn't matter how you're planning to get rich. It could be by building a business or building a solid career. The advice is the same. You should avoid these mistakes at all costs. Now, the first mistake, according to Warren Buffett, is the single biggest mistake that most people make, and that is not learning the habit of saving properly. It sounds boring, and you have heard it a million times, but everything comes down to this. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You are going to stay poor unless you master this habit of saving money. Now, people make a lot of money, and yet every time you talk to them, they complain that they can't afford this or that. They are worried if they are going to get fired or the economy will fall into a recession. The only question here is that, what on earth did you do with all of that money that you have made the last 5 years? You could have easily saved up that money and no matter what happens, you would have been fine. But no, you satisfied your urges and spent lavishly on crap that holds no value today. Here is how people become rich. It's very simple. You patiently save enough money that makes enough money that pays for your basic bills. You are financially free. Now, you can afford to do whatever you want to make a lot more money. You are not tied to anyone. You are not accountable to any boss. You are obligated to waste your time doing anything that doesn't satisfy you or make you even more money. So, from there, you are going to make hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, but that's not going to happen unless you master the habit of saving money. The second mistake that most people make is trying to time the market. With all of this brain power, experience, wisdom, you name it, Buffett never tried to time the market, and then you have these 20-year-old kids who barely saved up a few $1,000s and are struggling to make millions of dollars by timing the market and calling the people who actually made billions of dollars fools. When there is a market rally, they are laughing because everything is growing, and then out of nowhere, the market collapses and they lose everything because they have bet everything they saved. They avoided the first advice: save money. Don't gamble that money. Your job is to build capital and not play with it trying to time the market. Numerous people who get into stock market as beginners make this mistake multiple times, although sometimes they do make some money, but they also often end up losing a lot of money. So the question is, what kind of stocks you have to buy? For that, you need to do proper research at your end and be educated enough about the stocks you are investing into. Now that takes us to the next point. If you aren't thinking about owning a stock for 10 years, don't even think about owning it for 10 minutes. Nowadays, people make bling investments on something just because everybody talks about it. Just because it's trending, just because it's cool. Yo man, you're actually following the crowd here, which is a biggest mistake in the stock market. You barely saved that money. How could you possibly throw it into something you barely know anything about? Did you read its financial statements? Did you analyze its income statement? Have you seen their latest cash flow? Do you have any idea how the company plans to grow in the next 5 or 10 years? You haven't done any of those things, but you still decided to bet your life's savings. FTX is a great example. It's crypto, of course, but it had exposed us. We are willing to throw our money blindly into something we have no idea about it, and then blame Wall Street for everything. Where were your due diligence? So, before you invest in anything, are you confident enough to hold that investment for 10 years? Ask yourself, would those stocks last for a decade? Be it a business, real estate, stock, or crypto? Trust me, the answer is going to be no in 9 out of 10 cases. You have no idea how much money you're going to save and how much less mental torture you would have to endure. The next one is simple, and yet people fall for it every single time. Avoid debt at all cost. It's true that debt can be pretty helpful in some cases, but a lot of people don't have the discipline to handle debt. Leverage gives you all these options, but the number of people who actually go broke because the reality didn't match with their plans. But because they have leveraged their positions, that single trade or that single deal destroyed whatever was left off their wealth. If you're smart, you're going to make a lot of money without borrowing, and that doesn't even include the credit card debts. If you're borrowing money at 18 or 20%, you are guaranteed to go broke. You are never going to make it. So, if you have any kind of credit card debt, the first thing you should do is pay off that debt. Finally, anything you invest in yourself, you get back tenfold. Now, most of the people are always asking, what stock should I buy? What properties should I buy? Where should I invest my money? Now, here's a genuine question. When was the last time you invested in yourself? And it's not about buying one single book on financial education 3 years ago. If we take out school and college, how much money you actually put into developing yourself? That's the problems with most people. They are ready to throw money into the stock market without having any clue of whatever besides watching someone online telling them to do so and so, but they hesitate to go to a webinar to improve their social skills or accounting class to learn to read financial statements. You are a project. You are a project of your own. What you make out of yourself at the end of the journey is what matters the most. So, don't ignore yourself. Start by investing in yourself, in your skills, in your comfort, in your peace of mind. So, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.